One Building Code Board of Appeals. First line of business is roll call. Kathy?
Mr. Abathera?
Here.
Ms. Brooks?
Present.
Mr. Deserman?
Here.
Mr. Friesen?
Here.
Mr. Miller? Quorum present, Mr. Chair.
Second one will be the approval of the minutes of the October 6, 2021 meeting. Anybody want to put up?
Move to approve.
Second.
Kathy?
Ms. Brooks?
Yes.
Mr. Deserman?
Yes.
Mr. Friesen?
Yes.
Mr. Abathera?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, we're going to move to our first case, which is a variance request from Michael Booker Sr. and Lynette Booker at 2026 Blue Spruce. Salim, can you tell us about this?
Sure. Various requests, Michael Booker Sr. and Lynette Booker, 2026 Blue Spruce. This property is a double front corner lot per the City of Troy zoning ordinance. It is in the R1C use district. As such, per Chapter 83 of the City of Troy Code, it has 30 feet required front setback along both John R. and Blue Spruce Drive. The petitioner is requesting a building permit to install 103.5 feet of a 6 feet high vinyl obscuring fence at the rear property line perpendicular to John R. Out of the 103.5 feet of fence, the petitioner is requesting a variance for 30 feet of that encroach into the John R. 30 feet required setback, where the city code limits obscuring fences to 30 inches in height due to the fact that there isn't a back-to-back relationship to the rear neighboring lot. Chapter 83.
Okay, thank you, Salim. This one has been brought back to us, correct?
Correct.
They kept postponing because we didn't have a full quorum, if I'm not mistaken.
What, I'm sorry?
They kept postponing because we didn't have five.
Yes, what happens, she wanted a full quorum, but today, again, we don't have one.
You're going to go through with it today? Yes. Okay, all right. If I remember correctly, Salim, we're only looking at that 30 feet?
Correct. So I have a picture right now, and it's showing that it's perpendicular to John R., and we only have those 30 feet of the obscuring fence. The rest does not require a variance.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Salim, or before I bring the petitioner up? And it's not going down John R. It's strictly, Salim, it's going...
Yeah, strictly perpendicular.
Just perpendicular. Okay, and the petitioner present? Would you come up and just state your name and remind everybody why we need the variance?
Hi, my name is Lynette Booker.
If you don't mind signing in too while you're there.
Oh, okay, sure. With this, I don't know if you can kind of like maybe push the picture up a little bit. The neighboring yard that's behind me, right now you only see a total of 3 cars, but it's like 5 cars that are abandoned. And it's causing a lot of rodents to come over into my yard. And that's one of the main reasons that I want the fence.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for the petitioner?
If you don't mind, I have a question. I'm noticing in one of the pictures, the current fence, which is a chain link fence, does run perpendicular. It looks like it does impede on that 30-foot. Am I right? Currently, what we're looking for, but there is a berm or a
Right here.
mounted area for the trees and so forth. But the fence is sort of buried by that. What is your intention with the fence that you want to install? Are you clearing that berm to?
No, only where the fence will be. Other than that, everything else will stay the same.
So you're not going to go over the berm with the fencing?
Yes, to kind of cut in there to where it's straight.
Okay, so you will impede on that berm or that dirt right there
Right.
to install the new fence?
Right. Not to, yes.
Maybe similar on that question. I assume the intent is that the top of the fence is, you're not going to go, the fence isn't going to get higher at the berm.
No, it's
You're
not
just
going to get higher.
Straight through at
Just straight through.
whatever the elevation was.
Right.
How far is that end of that fence? Do we know, Salim, or do you know the end of this current fence, what it is from the edge of
The berm is roughly about 10 feet or so, It's not a full, I was looking for a picture. It's right here. You can kind of see it
Yeah.
right here.
Yeah.
And it's not really high. It's maybe about 20-something inches or 30 inches or so.
And the intention is to run the new fence how far from the sidewalk?
The intention, for what I understand, she's going to cut down the ground, and it's going to go out. And right now, it's, for what I understand, 1 foot away from the property line.
Okay.
So, yep, I got a picture right here. So she would have to stay at least 1 foot from the sidewalk.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Sandy? You know, my only question is, you're running it 1 foot from the sidewalk. People walking on the sidewalk are going to, 1 foot off, are going to, boom, they're going to hit a fence. Do you have a problem staying back a little bit?
Do I have what?
You know, instead of going 1 foot from the sidewalk, maybe 5 feet from the sidewalk? Do you guys, you know what I'm saying? If someone's walking on the sidewalk, a kid's riding his bike, and he
That's fine.
travels to the right a little bit, you know, there's a
Passing
fence.
somebody or something like
Yes.
that?
Right, that's fine, because the 30-foot, if you look at the photo, 30-foot, it goes like right in the middle of the yard.
Okay.
So 5 foot, I'm definitely fine with that, yes.
Okay. Ms. Teresa?
Just to clarify, will the chain link fence stay in place, or is that to be removed?
That's to be removed.
Okay.
Is that clear, was that chain link fence clearly, is that owned by yourself or the other property owner, do we know? Is there a permit on that at any point?
I didn't see anything.
I would suggest before you take the fence,
Yeah,
make sure it's your
we
fence.
should investigate on it before you take it off.
Yeah. Make sure that it's yours.
Okay, yes.
I mean, we can't stop you from doing it, but
Yeah.
Right.
neighborly would be to make sure it's your fence before you take it down.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
all right, thank
Is there
you.
anybody from the audience that needs to?
I'm sorry?
No, I'm not seeing there's anybody in the audience that wants to come up and speak on here. Any letters, emails?
Everything that was sent previously has been submitted by Jackie.
Okay.
And yeah, there was some, and we have read them before.
Nothing new, though?
Nothing new.
Okay. All right. Anybody at the board have any questions for Salim or what we want to do? I personally like the idea of being 5 feet back from the property line, and I don't have a problem with the rest of it. Someone wants to put a motion forward?
I can, I'll move a motion, or I'll put a motion in front that the variance request for, is it 2026 Blue Spruce? For, that the variance be granted with a caveat that we have a 5-foot setback from the property line for the west property line, thank you, for the 5 foot from the west property line, adjacent to the sidewalk there. And that's variance does not adversely affect properties in the immediate vicinity, and that the petitioner has a hardship based on the difficulty of the other unusual characteristics of the property, so.
Kathy, did you get that okay?
Yes, I did.
I'll second it. Anybody have any talk on it? No? Kathy, take the vote,
Ready?
please.
Mr. DeZerman,
Yes.
Mr. Friesen,
Yes.
Mr. Abathera,
Yes.
Ms. Brooks.
Yes.
Motion carries.
You're all set.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you.
Our second case is a variance request from Vikas Shioran at 3040 Albany Court. Salim, could you tell us
Yes,
about that one, please?
1 second, please. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. Yes, so this property is in the R1E district per the City of Troy zoning ordinance, and from the City of Troy codes, Chapter 83, fences to fence construction in residential areas, item A, it indicates that no fence shall be constructed to a height of more than 6 feet above the existing grade of the land. The petitioner is requesting a variance to install a 9 feet high, 41 feet long, obscuring fence along the back property lot line, starting at the north corner towards the south corner, lot corner, Chapter 83.
Thank you. Anybody here have any questions first for Salim? No. Is the petitioner present? Come stand up and, if you don't mind signing in, and tell us the reason why you need your
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for hearing my petition. So before I start, let me give you sort of a problem statement, actually, why I'm asking for it as a 9-foot fence. Can you hear me with the mask on?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So I am subjected, actually, my house is subjected to a constant rotting food and trash smell from dumpsters and grease containers that are located within 35 feet of living quarters, right? To add more to the context, let me give you a little bit of more background on it. So my house is adjacent to Golden Gates Plaza. The 4 feet 5 inch backyard boundary wall is shared between the house and plaza. House is located on a cul-de-sac, doesn't have a large backyard. Backyard is about 35 feet actually wide, right between the wall and between the living quarters. That much space is only there. There are 2 commercial dumpsters and a grease container abutting the property. Trash and food from businesses, including the Subway and El Patio Mexican restaurant, is placed in these dumpsters and grease containers. These dumpsters and grease containers constantly overflow. Yearly evidence since 2016 has been given to the city. History on it. In 2015, without my consultation, city approved a plan to have the plaza owner build dumpster enclosures abutting my property. In 2015, I raised my concerns to the planning department through a petition to review the location of these dumpsters. Through petition, I had informed city that location is too close to living quarters and this will exacerbate the already existing smell problem. Prior to 2015, dumpsters were not stationary, they were floating. City informed me in 2015 that there will be no rotting or trash food smell from these dumpsters. Since 2015, yearly complaints with evidence have been filed with the city. City has tried to fix the problem by enforcement, but that has not yielded any significant result. I thank the city, Mr. Savidant, for the effort. The severity of smell is so bad that I'm unable to use my backyard. This is evident from the pictures submitted with the application. Solution. Over the last 5 years, I have proposed multiple solutions to the city, such as relocating the dumpsters to the north side towards the fruit market, or relocate towards the east behind the Dunkin' Donuts. There already are dumpsters there. Actually, placing 2 others will not have a larger impact. The last option is that I install this 9-foot fence. The idea essentially here is that this tall fence, not the idea actually, but this tall fence will protect me from direct exposure to wind, hence reducing the smell. The fence is not running the entire perimeter, it only runs 41 feet actually. So in conclusion, I understand the importance of business. I also understand the rights of the business. I wish business good luck. In fact, since 2015, business has grown for the plaza. However, I also have certain rights to use my backyard without being subjected to smell. I face the same problem year after year. I need a permanent resolution to this problem. I believe, and as stated earlier, having a tall fence will protect me from smell. If for any reason city is unable to approve this request, then I need further direction from city as to what can be done to resolve this 5-year long-standing problem. I can answer any questions you may have. I have submitted all the evidence over the 5 years to you, and the planning department is already aware of this problem. So I thank you for your time.
Thank you. I have one question for you.
Yes, sir.
From your property to the top of the wall is only 4'6".
Pardon me, sir?
How tall is the fence on your side of the property?
I don't have any fence on my side of property. The wall is actually owned by the business owner.
I understand, but how much of the wall do you see? It's a 6-foot wall. Do you see all?
No, it's not.
It's right here on the picture.
It's 4 feet 5 inches. It's not tall.
Okay, it's 4 feet 5 inches tall?
Yeah.
Okay.
And the dumpsters are like here.
I understand that part, but the wall that separates your house from the business, if you can pull right
Yeah,
there.
that's it.
That
the
wall right there is only 4 foot 5 inches tall on your side?
Yeah.
Okay.
And you see it's tilted. So in 2015, there was a large tree here that was cut because
Okay.
that tree was pushing back. This was supposed to be fixed, but never got fixed actually, but that's a different
Okay,
story.
but I was just clarifying, you have 4 foot 5. Salim, do you have a picture on the other side? Is it, because the privacy walls, or the screening wall is supposed to be 6 feet tall. Is it just a grade elevation?
Yeah, I don't have a picture of the other
Okay.
side.
I think it might just be a grade 6 feet.
There is actually the petitioner gave a couple of pictures from the other side of
right.
the.
I gave a lot of pictures from the
Yeah.
other side, from this side, so
Yeah,
right
let me
here, see.
look for them.
Yeah.
So you just keep scrolling down there. Toward the end of this, there's pictures. Scroll the other way. Celine. There's other pictures from the other side.
I did see that one.
Yeah, it's 20 pages down or so, but.
I mean, there are pictures I submitted to Mr. Koss also. So he should,
73?
It's almost there. There you go.
there it is.
So keep going down so you see if you see the wall.
Here's one.
But that's the enclosure, not the wall that carries.
Looks like
So it looks like it's a grade change that
Yeah,
is
I think his
current.
property's higher than the
Yeah.
Golden Gates,
It
so.
totally looks like that. from-
Yeah. You see right here, the enclosure, and this seems
Right,
to be
those
the
walls
same
are
height
about
from
the
that
same
side.
height, but the enclosure wall is
Is
much
6
taller. You
feet.
can, right there,
Yeah.
you can see.
So
it.
there's grades here and the parking lot's down here.
Probably a 1.5 difference of grade.
You want to go 9 foot tall from your grade or 3 feet taller than the fence that's there?
I just want to put a 9-foot fence there.
Okay.
So where it is.
And what type of fence would you put in?
Wooden fence,
A wooden fence?
yeah. I can make it pretty if it, I mean, it's,
Okay.
And is your intention to put this fence in front of, you will be viewing it from your side, but you'll put it in
Yes.
front of this concrete wall, right? Or this
Yes.
brick wall?
yes, sir. Because the idea is because you have dumpsters, they are so close.
Yeah.
As the wind direction
Yeah.
changes, anything changes, it's like right in my face, actually.
Yeah, I understand.
I
Yeah.
really cannot do anything. The problem is, if the house was back, you had some buffer zone. There's nothing there, actually.
So,
Do they even make a 9-foot fence? That's my question.
so, Salim, I have a question for you. Is dumpsters are 6 feet tall then, correct? And the trash enclosures are 6 feet. Is there a code to make sure that they stay closed all the time? Because we see the pictures where they're open.
Well, yes,
Are they-
of course, and that's part of the enforcement. That's why the enforcement officers keep going there.
Okay.
And the enforcement department regulates behavior, but, they can't be there all the time, so people abuse that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're absolutely right, sir. Mr. Koss has been there many times, and before that, Mr. Bowers was there constantly. You can ask Mr. Savidant
Okay.
and Mr. Paul Evans, and Mr. Miller too, actually.
Okay. Does anybody else have any more questions for the petitioner?
I mean, I guess just a statement. I completely sympathize with your problem, and I think we need to find a solution for you. I'm not personally not sure that a taller fence is going to fix your smell problem, right? But
Well, I don't think it will either, yeah.
right. I mean, I feel like I understand what you're trying to accomplish. I'm worried that you're building quite a structure, and you're still going to have the same issue. Which I understand you're pleading for a solution, and I
Yes.
get it through your
I
correspondence there.
I absolutely have no other way or anything, actually, because I really can't do anything. I mean, I can't push the business, I can't do anything. And this doesn't make, I mean, the living condition in the spring, summer, fall actually is pretty bad, actually. You can't use the backyard. You can't use the deck, you can't use anything in the backyard.
How wide is your lot back there?
So, sir, the lot is about 41 plus, I think, 20 or 25 feet, something like that.
65.
Okay.
The entire length,
It's
actually.
right here.
Do your neighbors have the same
It's
issue?
62 wide,
Side of you?
Pardon me, sir?
Do your neighbors on either side of you have that
52
issue, or you have
62.
your neighbor to the north?
Yeah, they are more directly towards me. The neighbor actually on the left side, his house sits on the back.
Yep,
Yeah, you can see.
The neighbor on the right actually is far out, actually.
right.
He doesn't have this problem. But I mean, when it smells, actually, it's all over the place. There's no hiding from it.
Yeah.
Are you requesting a fence just only in that area where
Yes,
The
sir.
red is, yeah.
is where the red is? So you're not going to go to the property line?
No, from one end of the north end of my property line to.
I
whatever-
understand, but not from property point, like intersection to property intersection line, right? You're not going the 52 feet,
60, no.
or
not
62
that
feet,
far.
sorry, 62 foot of your lot line. You're not doing that.
I don't need, I mean, the only protection I need is this. This is the problem.
Have you talked to your neighbor to the north? Do they want to do something too, or no?
I didn't.
Just
approach
curious.
I have to
Teresa?
put a statement in before we get too far into this. As a representative of the Health Division, I am not a food inspector, so I am not in-depthly knowledgeable of the code. But what I can tell you is there were no complaints registered to the Health Division to investigate the trash or the dumpster, which is something that they do have authority to investigate. And so, again, they do have authority to investigate this. They have authority to increase the number of dumpsters depending on some of the city requirements, or increase the pickup on dumpsters. So even if the city doesn't allow an increase in dumpsters, they can try to force an increase if a violation is cited, to be able to increase more pickups.
Frequency, yeah.
Correct.
This is the Oakland County Health Department?
Yes, and I reviewed our records and did not see any complaints registered.
Well, I wasn't aware of it, but even like throughout the inspections, right, even if you increase the frequency of pickup and everything, the problem is it's so close actually, that that smell, whatever falls actually falls, it stays there. Whatever stays, as you can see in the pictures actually, like the ground almost like, stays with the grease and with everything around it. So even the small bit of wind that turns the direction, it's literally, there is no, between that wall and between those, that's the only different distance I have actually to my living.
But I think what you're saying is you have another opportunity for enforcement there. If the building or the city or the building department are not able to enforce that, this might be a better option to.
I will definitely approach you actually.
And they can probably approach
Yeah, but
what you were saying about the staining and the grease and all that stuff that's there. That's part of that health department's oversight.
Right.
Again, all regulatory aspects, in my opinion, have not been pursued, and to sit and try to vote on a fence when all of those have not been exhausted, I feel is a little preemptive.
Oh, you can see, it's just a continuous year after year subjection actually. Give me some, at least if you can give me some reprieve, and I'll approach you actually, into the year actually. That's not a problem. But as, Mr. Sandy, you were saying that I need something actually. I need some way, because children are like inside. I have not used my backyard in the last 6 years.
Okay. But I guess to what I said clearly was that I think you need a solution.
Yes.
I also said I don't think this is the right solution, and I would be inclined to think what she's referencing, if you can get a different department that has specific jurisdiction over this kind of thing, that can enforce them to make sure it's not on the ground, to make sure that the lids are closed, that make sure that the grease is removed, 3 times a week instead of once a week, or whatever the case might be, because that rotting smell is, obviously grease sitting out in the heat for 7 days or however long it takes. Increasing the frequency, increasing the number, making sure that it's closed properly, make sure that they're cleaned properly, would go along, I think, be more successful than putting up a fence.
And you never know, the Oakland County Health Department may override the cities and maybe push these dumpsters to a different location just for the sake of, but we don't know that.
That's outside of the scope of what,
Right.
I'm not sure their authority, and again, I know that they
Right.
have to work
But
within.
you don't
city
know
codes.
unless you pursue something like that. So that's all we're trying to do, is give you some avenues to pursue so that
Absolutely.
it helps you in this situation. Because I think we all up here feel for you in this regard, because this is not something that I would want to stare at every day either, so.
Okay. I have a question for you. Have you talked to the owners of the Golden Gate?
Yes, sir. In the beginning, I had talked to them.
Are
They were aware of it. We brought them actually, even in fact, when they were laying the foundation, at that point, I had submitted a petition that was submitted to the Honorable Mayor actually, at that time. And we did discuss, but nothing came out actually.
Salim,
Yes.
6 feet for an enclosure. Do they ever go 8 feet on an enclosure, or 9 feet?
Well, there's could be a special requirements. I would need to check on the commercial side what can be. Normally, those get approved when the site plan gets approved, and that's a good idea that I can explore.
Because I almost wonder if at first you were to talk to the Golden Gate and the city and see if you could increase the heights of the retention
Yes.
to 8 feet. They could add 2 courses of block on, or 3. Because I do understand it's, from your backyard, you see it. There's no doubt about it. The lid's open, lid's closed, you see it.
Yeah. So that part did come actually, but I think the cost of raising the wall was very high actually. That's what the property owner had informed us, was about 2 million or something. And
2 million?
yeah, something like that is what was said. That's why that wall wasn't fixed either. It's still.
That's the whole wall. I'm talking just the garbage enclosure, because that's all you really care about is the garbage
The
enclosure.
one that's on the picture right now.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the whole wall, 1,000 feet would be
So I would like to add to that.
Yes.
If that option was approved by the plan department, that will cover three different surfaces. So that will be more effective even than just one
Yes.
fence.
You understand what we're saying? Like right now, the closure is 6 feet. If they were to go to 8 feet for you there, I mean, if they're get called by Dave Koss, what'd you say, how many times already in the last 6 years? You think Mr. Koss has been out there and Gary Bowers?
Yes, multiple times, where I understand.
I mean, more than 50 times?
I believe so.
Okay, you would think that he would say, okay, what can I do to stop coming in? If you were raise those enclosures up,
And I know you have also interacted with the plan department, so for, a long time. So I don't know if you have ever proposed that to the plan department. And I cannot talk for them, but I can definitely propose it to planning to see if that can be requested to the owner.
I mean, sure, the only problem I have is the smell, or whichever way it takes, whatever it takes to get rid of it, actually, right? But my only fear is that, as you said, like earlier, right, that this goes up, even then there would be smell, actually, to some extent, whichever way, even because then you're still open. The only thing I could think of is that I have something like flat in front of it, it's not in my face, actually, continuously. So the permanent solution is, this is really not the place actually for it. They were placed at the wrong place actually, and I had informed the city. They could be either relocated and amply, like there already is a blueprint for it actually. Behind Dunkin' Donuts, they already have dumpsters there. And the distance for these Subway and them is the same distance. Like, they're not walking like a mile extra to put the stuff, right? It's the same thing.
okay.
Were the
It
dumpsters?
may be food required.
Well, and I think,
Hold-
oh, sorry.
Say it again, Teresa?
Sorry. Go ahead, you go.
Again, I am not familiar with the food law and its in-depthness, but they may be required to be within a certain distance of a restaurant. And so that would be something, again, where the health department may say this is the location that they have to be able to maintain their food license. So there's, usually the county will work with the city, again, between their codes and our codes to be able to navigate that. So the location may not be able to be changed. I'm hesitant to say that it could be.
Okay.
My question would be a follow-up to that is, did the dumpster enclosures in the Golden Gate Plaza get a permit? Was that approved by the
Yeah,
building
that was
department?
approved by planning.
It was approved and inspected, right?
Yeah, that was done a long time ago, so I was not part of it, but something like this has to go through plan
Okay.
approval.
I just wanted to ask.
Sandy?
What I guess I'd say is, I'm an architect and we do anything with grease hoods and all this stuff. I totally understand we are required to put scrubbers on all sorts of things so that we're not creating this smell. I understand it's an issue. I think you've reached out to whatever the channel is through building or planning, and they've kind of said, we're trying, but we don't have enforcement or whatever the case might be, we can't make this happen. I think if it's as obvious as what it sounds like you're saying, as far as the smell and the leak and the mess and the open and all this kind of stuff, something like what Teresa's talking about would seem that they would give some sort of, I don't know what the right, citation, whatever the right form of.
Again, it's something that they have to observe, which is anytime we have complaints, we have to observe it. And I can observe it in your pictures, but we have to physically observe it during an inspection, which is sometimes difficult. If you know that it's worse, if trash pickup's on Wednesday, you would want to say, hey, you need to come out on Tuesday because trash pickup is on Wednesday, don't come Wednesday. Our schedules don't always allow that. But observing it, witnessing it, and then they push forward with an enforcement if there is something cited to try to resolve it to meet the code. Dumpster lids being open is a violation of the code. That I do know. And so there are multiple pictures over multiple days. And I'm also seeing a lot of cardboard, so I don't know the code with cardboard, if they're supposed to have like a separate refuge for that?
Not per our code.
Okay.
No.
But yeah, that just seems like there's a lot of unnecessary waste that's going in there that's taking up space to keep the lids closed when they do put food waste in there.
Yes, I understand cardboard can be recycled, but I'm talking about the code. I don't have it in front of me, but I would understand that's optional.
Okay.
Yes.
My only point on that is that if the health department, if it's as bad as it seems, and the health department is able to give a citation or multiple citations, that will help your cause to get something done over here, as opposed to if you're just going to the wrong enforcement department and they're not able to help you, getting this department to create citations or whatever the case might be will help that argument. Because to your point, you just want it to not smell in your backyard. I don't think the fence does it. The solution is at the source. And so it seems like this will help you to get the solution taken care of properly, I guess, is my inclination.
To kind of reiterate to some of that too, so I think that we're giving you a lot of information here to kind of today. So, and we're not trying to push you away here, but maybe postponing this for yourself would be a good idea, to maybe reconsider this before we take a vote for something like this, because obviously it hangs. If we don't approve this, then you don't get any relief from the fence side. But if you go back and you try to help yourself with some of these ideas, then you can postpone and come back, and then we can reconsider that. Just a thought.
Salim, you had a...
Yeah, I wanted to add something. This is a very unique case. So I would like to bring this option that you mentioned about possibly raising the dumpster wall enclosure. I would like to bring it to Brent Sabadan to see if this can even be taken to ZBA, because now it becomes a site requirement. So it could be, I'm not saying it is, but I would like to check with him. I'm not the expert on that
So
field.
you're saying Golden Gate may want to go to 8 foot, but they can't because it's too
Well,
close to a lot line and have to go to ZBA for a
Yeah,
variance?
I'm not telling, it's a possibility that he might be able to take it to ZBA as a request. As I say, it's very unique, and I would need to explore that with Brent Savidan and Paul Evans to see if that's an option, but I will follow up on it.
And to that point, right, if you're getting a citation and Golden Gate needs to deal with this some way because it's their problem, they may not want to say, I don't care, it's not my problem, I'm not putting block on my enclosure, right? Well, when it becomes their problem, maybe they will, right? It's a whole lot of theoretical, but it seems like the more prudent option, and I understand where you're probably at because it looks like you've been doing this for 3 or 4 years. Maybe you were just looking down the wrong channel, but it seems like it would be more prudent to get them to solve the problem because it's their issue.
Well, I've been afraid actually, because that's why, I've been reaching out to the planning because that's where, what the context was. That's where the whole thing started.
Would totally understand.
For the 5 years, that's what I was approaching. I had even looked into other cities, what their, rules and regulations are in this sort of a situation. Because it's really, even if you raise it up, as you said, what if I come back here tomorrow and the same smell is there actually, right?
Right.
And things change continuously, 24 hours things change. Wind direction changes, rain changes, the whole thing changes. The problem is so close actually. So I think in my mind, at least to serve to your suggestion, maybe there could be a two-pronged approach actually. That I put this thing up there and I approach the city or the county actually, the health department, so that they can enforce it. Because that way now you have the enforcement going on, and then whatever the remaining part is that is coming back to me is like it's like your dumpster at home, right? You put trash into it, you take it out, something leaks, it'll stay there until you clean it, until you wash it actually, right? Same situation, I'm subjected 24 hours actually on this thing, And then the question becomes, I smell it, I don't smell it, I smell it, I don't smell it. What do you do? Like, do you invite people on Friday? You then postpone everything because you don't know what is going to happen then, last year we had pandemic and you have pictures from last year into it. So you see like the traffic in there is like exceptionally gone like anything. That plaza fills up like anything. So those are the things actually, probably like having these sort of balances and checks in place, I can probably live a quiet life, and I don't mind the business is doing what it's supposed to do actually.
Okay.
But the smell is the problem for me.
Well, Salim, I have a question for you. Is when they issue a citation to them, do they just have to clean it or do they get fined?
Well, that would be more the health department. So,
Go ahead.
yeah, from our standpoint, and I'm not in charge of enforcement, it's Paul Evans. What happens is if they have multiple violations, yes, they can give them a ticket and take them to court.
Okay.
Yes, but in regards to the health department, I don't know what the behavior is there for the inspectors.
We do not have a fine system at the health department. And just this is not I don't know where this falls under, whether it's a critical or a non-critical violation. And so they do increasing enforcement when violations are not corrected, and then they would proceed with what they call a pre-hearing if they're not getting corrective action from in the field. Again, because you're dealing with probably a company that rents space out of the plaza, you're then dealing with not only the entity that's producing the waste, but you're dealing with sometimes the owner of that rental as well.
Yeah.
So
there's the landlord and the person that is leasing the space.
Right.
And also want to add that he does have the right to put a 6-foot fence on the back.
That's what I was going to say. If you're only 4'5" now, you can go up to 6 foot without any permission from the board.
Correct.
So you just need permission from 6 to 9.
And it can even be a masonry wall, like totally.
Yeah, it could be whatever type of wall he wants up there. I mean, I feel sorry for the situation. I wouldn't want to look at dumpsters and the smell either, but I would think you'd be better to postpone this and try to have, I mean, and I don't want you to have to wait 2 years through Oakland County and find out what happens in 30 or 60 days. Because if there's no fines and they just keep saying, yep, we're going to close the dumpsters, I mean, I would feel better thinking of a solution for a fence after you've exhausted your chance with Oakland County. I'm talking 30 days, not 3 years. And just see what they say. They may say, you know, we're going to tell them to close the lids and do another day of pickup. We don't know. I mean, we're just trying to help you out here. And just to, you know, if you come back in 30 days and say the Oakland County Health Department said it's garbage and that's it, I feel no problem going up to like even an 8-foot fence to protect it, because I don't think anybody's seeing the back of the fence except the dumpsters and the people that are smoking out the back of their doors. So I really have no issue, but I would like you to first see what Oakland County says. But it's your call. You can say you don't want to and you want to see what happens at the board, and it does. But
I mean, I'll take whatever you guys recommend, because as I said, I really have no other place to go. I mean, where would I go, actually?
because I mean, like I say, if you put up 41 feet of fence, you might still get the same grease smell coming around the fence and everything else. And you have a fence, you're going to look at it. No one else is going to see it but you. I think it'd be-
Gary, I wanted to mention
sorry.
that, let's not forget that I'm going to be exploring that option with the planning department.
Yes, with the enclosures going.
Yeah, I'm not promising anything, but I will definitely explore that option. It's my job to see what else can be done, and I will give you an answer. Maybe we can meet with Brent Savidant and Paul Evans and to see if there's another way to look at this problem, which is what Gary brought up to the table, which is raising the enclosure.
And like I say, the only thing we are is we just are the fence. We're not the location or the amount or size. We're just the board that talks about the height of the fence. So it's your option of what you want to do.
you have a pen, the number for what we call our South Oakland Health Center is 248-424-7000. You can also go on oakgov.com and do an online complaint. I would recommend leaving your name. That way they can contact you and discuss it with you. If you would prefer, you can leave it anonymously. You just wouldn't get contacted then.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. Should I leave a name with you?
No, if you do the complaint online at oakgov.com, I would leave your name so that sanitarian can contact you and discuss it with you. If you want, you can leave it anonymously, but that just means that you wouldn't get contacted with any updates or be able to be questioned.
I can leave my name there, that's okay.
So yeah, either online or you can call the phone number and just register a complaint. The more details, again, what day is the worst day helps them. And I'm not sure their availability. I do know that they're pretty backlogged right now, but complaints have to be responded to within a certain number of days. We are obligated to do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's winter coming up now, so winter has never been.
You know what? These dumpsters aren't closed, so I'm pretty sure they're going to see the dumpsters not closed regardless of the time. The odor is not something necessarily that they can directly deal with, but getting it clean, getting it at a frequency that eliminates the herberge issue, they may be able to help with.
I mean, even with the dumpster closed, the smell is there,
Yep.
because you need buffer, whatever it is. I mean, it's just, the situation is that's what it is. And I really don't know what I can do, actually, because I can't physically move the house. It's just, I can't.
Right. So was that what you think you'd like to do, is to postpone this?
I mean, if that's what the recommendation is, I would take that and I'll approach that, because that's the only thing I can do. As I said, for this, I think there's two-pronged approach.
Yeah.
One is to push the business owner to do what is right, and I have some sort of a barrier there that can then eliminate probably. I mean, those are the two engineering things I can think of, or logical things.
So,
I can put a motion forward to just postpone. Is 60 days okay? I mean, that gives you until January 1st or that first week of January to kind of pursue what you need to do. Is that acceptable to you?
Yeah, I'm not here in December, so probably if you could, February is good, actually.
February?
February,
Okay,
okay.
so, all right, I'll put a motion forward that we postpone the case for 3040 Albany Court in Troy till the February 2nd hearing.
how will you call it, the first meeting in February?
First meeting in February, sorry. I will call for the first meeting in February for the Building Board Code of Appeals to rehear. And can you get a motion?
I'll second.
Kathy, whenever you're ready.
Mr. Friesen?
Yes.
Mr. Abathera?
Yes.
Ms. Brooks?
Yes.
Mr. Jezerman?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Okay, we'll see you in February.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And if something comes up, you can always talk to Celine to push it back further. If you're getting results, you can always push it back.
Okay.
Correct, Celine?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely, I'll be in touch.
Yeah, just stay in contact
Yes.
with them.
I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, thank you for everything you brought too. We appreciate all the details. So, thanks.
Our next one will be a variance request for John and Alexandra Kumastopoulos at 793 Island Court. Celine?
Yes, this property is a double front corner lot per the City of Troy zoning ordinance. It is in the R1C use district. As such, per Chapter 83 of the City of Troy Code, it has a 30 feet required front setback along both Island Court and Gatwick Drive. The petitioner is requesting a variance to install a 5 feet high, 85 feet long, non-obscuring aluminum fence, 10 feet from the property line along the Gatwick Drive side where the city limits to 30 inches obscuring high fences due to the fact that there isn't a back-to-back relationship to the rear neighboring lot. The total fence requested to be permitted is 257 feet and 172 feet do not require a variance per Chapter 83.
All right, and we have any questions for Salim right now? Salim, I have a question for you for the case before us that we just did. Was there any public comment on that?
You know, there's something right
I forgot to
here.
ask you. Usually somebody.
So Jackie left is one that probably came in between the time.
I'm sorry, they said,
There's one that was printed and presented to you on your table right now.
okay.
For this,
So, yeah.
for this case though.
Yes, it's for this case.
No, for the case before us.
Oh, for the case before?
I did not ask.
You know, I not think that came in between the space, but there was a lot of previous information that
Yeah.
became part of the packet.
All right, so we're back to this case here. Anybody have any questions for Salim before I bring the petitioner up on this? No? Come up, please sign in. Sure. And tell us the reason why you need to have the variance.
I didn't bring my glasses, but let's see here. Hello, thank you for allowing us to speak on the request that we have for a variance. So we've been We built this home 25 years ago and have been working for many years on landscaping in order to plan to put a pool in. And since COVID hit and everybody's working remote, we've been thinking more about it the last couple summers. So we thought we would see if we could get a first fence before we continue to go on with plans of getting, some plans out for the pool and what we can actually put in there. So that's why I'm here. I think I got denied last year or a year and a half ago, I believe it was, and it took a little time to put in the paperwork. So, so as you can see, there's a lot of mature trees, and we've added perennial gardens throughout the yard. So the 30-foot requirement kind of goes right into the middle of those trees there and that landscaping. So.
I'm sorry, you said you were denied a year and a half ago?
Because of the requirement on the side of being 30 feet in from the sidewalk, I believe.
By the board or just?
No, just the process, normal
Okay,
process.
okay.
First time here at the
Okay,
board.
from the
First
fence
time,
permit.
yeah.
The building department, yes.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
I said, well, I couldn't remember.
You got a better memory than that.
Does anybody have any questions for the applicant right now?
I do. Oh, sorry, one quick question. It is non-obscuring aluminum, like a picket kind of fence. I don't see any examples.
I don't have, it's decorative more than anything. I don't want it to be like obscuring, so it's more to add to the landscape. And I honestly, we were gonna, 5 foot is what we requested, so I think if that should meet the requirements for a pool.
So-
I'd hate to be back and have to add a foot to that. So.
No, that was actually my next two questions.
Yeah.
So Salim, in this location, the allowed would be 30 inches, I assume?
Yes,
And then to Teresa, the requirement from a pool is 4 feet, 5 feet?
Needs 5'4".
If you don't know, don't.
Public pools, I think, is 48 inches.
Actually, I think it's 54 inches.
54? Okay.
yeah, the gate has to be higher, so 5 feet will meet the code.
Yeah, 5 foot will make it go.
But if I have a question then, Salim. So if she does install a pool, doesn't that waive the variance for the fence? Because don't they have to fence in the pool area?
Yeah, but the pool doesn't have to, the fence doesn't have to extend that far. So you
So
don't
the
need-
fence would only be around the pool
around the
area.
pool, correct.
She could still put the fence in the code-approved 30 feet back and meet
So does
the,
the pool have to be set back 30 feet?
Correct. Yeah, the pool has to be within the
I
area.
just want to clarify.
The pool would be set back
Yeah,
far
I
beyond
just
30
wanted to
feet, right,
clarify the
right, yeah.
code,
yeah.
So,
And to clarify, it's non-obscuring, so it's.
Non-obscuring, no. Decorative more than
Decorative
anything, just to
aluminum
add to the landscape we've put in there.
and this is a corner lot, so we've got a double,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have a question for Salim.
Go ahead.
Salim, there is 15 feet of storm easement along the south and east side of this property. Is that city storm, or do we know whose storm?
Yeah, so what happens is that on easements, we normally send them to DPW, and we've been getting approval on all storm easements.
Okay.
We have not gotten
I know the
rejection on that.
preceding one had a catch basin right in the backyard,
Yeah.
so. I didn't-
So when that happens, it still has to go through the process, and let's suppose even it was approved here, and DPW says no, well, it's not going to be able to be done.
So we could approve it, but the DPW could deny
Correct,
it.
it could happen.
Because that other one had a 20-foot easement in the backyard. Back to this one. So-
Salim, besides the one letter we have, is there any more?
I'm sorry?
We just have one letter from the neighbors?
That's what I have, what happens, anything that comes in between the time frame gets printed and it gets put in the packet.
Okay.
If it's outside that time frame, then we get it printed, so that's what we
Okay,
have.
so there's
now.
only one?
Yep.
We only have one?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for us before I tell the petitioner she can sit down?
I do have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Just So the construction plan would be to, if approved, would be to do the pool and then the fence would go in.
Correct, right.
I know it sounds silly, but don't know how many times the fence would go in and then you're like, oh, I got to put a pool in and you've got a fence in. Okay, just
Yeah, for construction purposes, I think it's, yeah.
seems the order, but it doesn't always happen that way.
Gary, I also want to add that there's other items that she has to meet for that to be a fence for a pool, which you would have to come to our department so we can explain to you,
Sure.
like alarms, a type of lock.
Yes, I think you've mentioned that before, in email maybe or over the phone.
I
yeah.
think so, yes, thank you.
Is your entire fence all the way around the property going to be the same type of fencing?
It will be, yeah. There's nothing there at this point in time.
Yeah, where all the red is where the fence, where you propose
Correct.
it's all going to be the same type of fencing?
Yes, yes, it's going to be the same.
And the trees are staying that are there, correct?
All of them.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
that was the whole point. I mean, if we could have brought it back, it would have required a lot of tree cutting and, because those are over 25 years old. Yep.
All right, any more questions for the petitioner? Okay, we'll discuss it among us then. Thank you.
Oh, okay, so I can just sit back then?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Well, it's even cut at a 45-degree angle
I know, I
at the
saw
driveway.
that.
And it's not obscuring.
You've been here before.
And she went, it's 10 foot off the sidewalk.
I know.
Or the property line.
10 foot off the property, plus
They did their
the,
homework on
yes.
the list.
I mean, and then my point is the trees are in front of the fence already, so you're not going to see half the fence because of the big mature trees.
Well, and she has, again, has to have a fence up to a certain point because of the pool. We're just looking at that.
We're extending it close to the sidewalk for her.
Right.
Right.
Okay.
And if you put a pool in, I mean, I appreciate the fact that it's not to the property line.
Yes. Okay. Sandy, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I kind of maybe disagree a little bit because just driving through that neighborhood, and I'm trying to I drove through about a week and a half ago. I'm kind of virtually driving through, but there's not really anything of like that in that neighborhood. That it is a very open yards, corners, whatever. And I appreciate it. I'm just trying to look the line of there's a little planter or rock area, and that. Maybe I'm deceptive here, appears to be outside of the 30 feet or...
It's right in the middle. If you go 30 feet in and actually...
I didn't see that picture.
This picture here?
Yeah, that's kind of a cube-shaped island where the boxwoods are, to the right of the pine tree. That whole area is just all perennial boxwoods trees and perennial garden.
But where is that on the 30?
I'm sorry, Mr. Komisarski,
Yeah, sure.
I'll have to come back up, I'm sorry.
Sorry about that.
Now, if you go down to the picture you were actually at before, actually go up, you can go up a little more. So, right, see the big pine tree there to the right? To the right of that is the big island that you're referring to, those stones. It's just a cobblestone. It's on the perimeter of that kidney-shaped island, which is really big. It's probably 25 feet by 15 in size. So going 30 feet from the sidewalk line off of Gatwick would go right in the middle of that island.
Well, I assume that 30 feet is nominally probably about the edge of the house, right? I mean, so you're kind of going right through there, maybe the edge of the rock. So maybe I'm digressing, but it seems a little out of character with what's there, and I feel like you could run along that edge of the house and have what you were just saying as far as like the buffer in front of it with the landscaping that you have.
Yeah, but then it closes out that piece of it, which is part of the yard, right?
Sure,
So it kind of obstructs into the pool, but
Yeah, we've definitely had that discussion many times before, but yeah, and I mean, I appreciate that it's a non-obscuring fence. That's a lot better than a lot of people have come to this board for. Yeah, I guess I'm somewhat against it in terms of the location based on the character of the neighborhood. But I do think to to Teresa's point, you have done all of the right homework as far as non-obscuring, cutting the corner, stepping back from the sidewalk, all the kind of things that we generally look for, so.
But she,
Oh, with the diagram that I made, is that what you're referring to? Oh, okay. Well, we were trying, but, we were hoping to kind of keep that nice landscape in there.
Matt?
Has there been any permits for fences in that vicinity of that home in the last several years, or?
Well, it's hard to say that because I would have to check on each one of them, but no, the area is not that popular with fences,
I can speak to two of my neighbors across the street that both have pools, part of the reason why we got inspired. So those are the two fences that I'm aware of in the
Your lot's
court.
just unique with being on a corner.
Yeah.
So, interesting.
I mean, she will have a fence if she proceeds with pool.
Right.
It's just
You won't be
where,
But it could be on the other side of the landscaping is my point.
could be, so, but then, I mean, the choice to have a pool put in, I'm usually one to say if you choose to put yourself into a situation, then the consequence is the consequence, but, I mean, it is 24 feet outside of that she would
20
be,
feet.
20.
is it 20?
Yeah,
That looks
she's
like
got 10 foot.
24.
It says 24.
Well, she has
So
to be
it's
30.
it's 34 to that point, so
Has to be 30 foot off.
because
So-
of the setback.
So
Right, so we're putting in 24.
I think the discrepancy is that 30, it's 24 from the house, which is obviously a little more than the 30-foot back from the lot, that's all.
The house is kind of angled, that's why it's like that.
Oh, okay, I got what
So
you're
probably,
we had
it's
to
probably 30 feet at that
'Cause we wanted
southeast
to-
corner.
turn there.
To appreciate the woods in the back, so we said go on an angle when we built it, so.
I do want to add that she's giving transparency, and she does have the right to put at 30 feet a totally obscuring fence, so just wanted to add that.
And I like to always add that she could just go along the sidewalk and put arborvitae's 10 feet tall and block everything off if she wanted to, which would close everything off walking down the sidewalk.
But that doesn't meet the pool requirement.
Well, she'd still put her fence back where it goes, but, if worrying about the neighborhood and blocking everything off, you could still block off your house with a hedge. Where I think the fence is obscured, non-obscuring, it keeps everything open.
I think it's uniformity. If she's having to put a fence in because of a pool, it's just
Yeah.
a uniform. And yes, there are living options, there's less option, there's
Okay.
the option in front of us. I would,
Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
motion?
Yes, we want to put a motion together?
I would like to put a motion forward.
Okay.
I just have to get to the right page.
It's like 300 pages up in this.
Oh, it's up at the top.
Use the sidebar.
Just a moment.
Sorry, we're looking at a lot
Oh,
of
that's-
papers here, so it,
Yep.
Let's see. I would motion to approve the variance request for 793 Island Court for relief of Chapter 83. I believe that the characteristics of this lot, characteristics of the property, which the variance is sought make compliance with the requirements difficult, and that this would not have a negative impact on the property or properties in the neighborhood.
I'll carry to second that motion for,
Matt, you second it?
yes.
Kathy, would you take the vote, please?
Mr. Abathier?
Yes.
Ms. Brooks?
Yes.
Mr. Jezerman?
Yes.
Mr. Friesen?
No.
Your motion carries. You're all
Okay.
set for your fence.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This goes to the building department later, and we'll follow up with you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sounds great. Thank you.
Your count.
Okay, our next one is a variance request by Frank Paul at 2982 Athena Drive. Salim?
Yep. 1 second.
Okay.
358,
Page.
if you just.
There you go.
Oh, there.
Okay, so this property is a double front corner lot per the City of Troy zoning ordinance. It is in the R1E use district. As such, per Chapter 83 of the City of Troy Code, it has a 25 feet required front setback along both Athena Drive and the Quinter Drive. The petitioner is requesting a variance to install a 6 feet high, 100 feet long obscuring wood fence 15 feet from the property line along the DeQuinder Drive side, where the city of code limits to 30 inches obscuring high fence due to the fact that there isn't a back-to-back relationship to the rear neighboring lot, Chapter 83.
Thank you, Salim.
Thank you.
Any question for Salim from the board? You go ahead, Teresa.
If it were not back to back,
Correct.
what is the code?
So when you're back-to-back, you are allowed to, it's 2.5 when you don't have back-to-back, and it can be obscuring. And, sorry, my mind just went. And you're allowed a higher fence when you're back-to-back.
It's true back-to-back when it's not.
Okay, so if this were, let's just say that we're a park
If it was the next
to
house
the
over.
south.
I'm sorry?
If it were, that house to the south were not there,
House there, yeah.
what would the rule be for this?
Yeah, so what happens, it's 4 feet when it's back-to-back.
Okay,
If it's side-to-back, it's 2.5 feet.
4 feet. Thank you.
Sorry for a minute.
Nope, I'm not asking great questions.
But the proposal in front of us is for the side, correct?
It's 6 feet for the side.
Just the one side?
Correct. Yeah, so the blue line is the setback, the red line is the fence location.
He's backing up, his side yard is DeQuinder Road.
Right.
Okay.
I don't see any pictures or understanding here, but there is no other fences on this property, is that correct right now?
Here's some pictures.
Yeah, I didn't see them in there, but I don't. Just the vegetation, but I don't see any picture, or any fence on the backside of the lot, correct?
No, I didn't see any of that either.
Or on the other side, sorry.
Correct.
Salim, I don't remember, but that is a house behind him, right?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
it's a house. Let me go back.
Yeah, okay. And if I'm not mistaken, across the street, DeQuinder is Lowe's, correct? Or pretty close to it? Okay. Any more questions for Salim before I bring the petitioner up? Is petitioner present? Would you like to come up and? Just come in and, if you don't mind, sign your name in there and just tell us why you need the variance.
I got to Google the image if you guys wanted to see more on the area.
So I'm just gonna,
Good, sure.
it's not too really good.
That's good.
English, so, it's the side fence on the side of the house. It's just the reason why he wants to get the fence is because it's, the 16 DeQuinder area is really a lot of traffic going on over there. And there's also a lot of trash being thrown over into the yard.
Okay.
That's an everyday thing, but mainly it's just really for privacy. There's a lot of traffic coming through, sometimes even when I'm there. I mean, we can barely speak to each other in the yard, that's how loud it is. And that's the biggest thing. Another thing is the bus stop. There's a bus stop directly back there. I mean, we've seen people hop over in the yard, and I just, you know, it's another safety issue. That's another main thing. That's basically really what it is.
Okay. Anybody have any questions for the, did you sign in too?
Should I?
Just sign in as Mrs., and then, if you don't mind telling us your name so we
Get
can.
my, yes.
Can you do that Google view?
Yes.
Can you do an expanded view so I can see down a little further
Sure.
down to Quinn?
Yeah, I'm going to do it through our
'Cause
system.
I already drove by this and I kind
Yep.
of want to see.
I'm sorry, your name was?
Marvin. I'm his-
Marvin? Okay, go ahead, Teresa.
Unfortunately, I did not have time to drive by. I will take my shame. In the picture from the iPhone, it appears that there is a chain link fence. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay, so would the plan be to remove that? Or,
Well, he was going to put a fence on the outer side so that the chain link fence wouldn't be shown, but we were going to keep it on the inside of the yard. So we would,
so the vegetation that's there would go?
Yes, that vegetation would go,
Okay,
yes.
okay, thank you.
The bushes and stuff. Yep.
Yeah, the-
If you go a little further down to Quinder South, you'll see, yeah, there's, right,
This area right here?
yeah, right in that area, those houses there, I think it was one of those that already has something similar or something like that.
You say you saw a fence or? Yeah, if it's a subdivision and there's a street on the other side, yes, they can put a fence there, but that's because it's the backside of the lot of that subdivision.
I meant on the Quinder side, but that's, I was just trying to show the characteristics of another lot that had similar or something.
Salim?
Yes,
He needs to be 25 feet off the property line, he's asking for 15, right?
let me go back to that, 1 second.
25 is required.
He's asking for 15 off.
Correct.
So he's only asking for a 10-foot variance.
Oh,
Okay.
boy.
And it's
Yeah.
a 6-foot obscuring though, right?
Yeah, it's actually shown as 10 feet on the sketch
Fence, there's one
specifically.
Yep.
I'm sorry, say that again?
Okay,
He's actually
kick
showing
me out of the
it's 10
system, so
feet.
give me a second.
It's all right. That's okay. Take your-
I got it right here too.
Yep.
Pointing to that red line.
Oh,
Yeah, so
you're mathing over there.
he's asking for 15 feet wood fence, obscuring wood fence.
6-foot obscuring wood fence,
Yes.
15 feet off the lot line?
Yes, I'm going back to my system because he kicked me out, 15 feet from the property line.
Right.
But I have 15 written down.
It's 10 from the house, which is 15.
10 from the house, 15 from the lot. Okay.
Oh, that's what that little,
I think that's what that means.
Correct.
Okay.
You gotta blow it up right there.
you tried to, oh, I see the squiggle.
I mean, as me, I see no problem with putting a fence along DeQuinta Road like that. And they're not asking to be on the lot line. They're asking 15 feet back, which means I feel they're doing their homework also.
Correct. And the bus stop is right there.
And there is a
which
bus
not-
stop
which is
there.
something that we
Okay.
can't-
They also have
I'm back.
that deck there.
Yes.
The deck, protrudes there, I don't know.
Right, they wouldn't be able to have to tear their deck out to put their fence to be that far off.
I'm sorry, you said something about a chain link that's there already?
Yes.
There's an existing chain link that's,
Still don't see it.
Look at
Last
page
page.
366 of your book. Yeah, the last page of your book.
422.
Next page, Salim. Yeah, if you zoom in on that, you can see it. Your image is kind of dark, but
Yeah, there's a fence
so
there.
is the chain link fence staying? Well, Salim, can you have a 6-foot fence and a chain link fence 15 feet
No,
apart?
well, I don't think there's anything against code that requires for you to remove a chain link fence. You can have multiple fences in one lot.
You can or you can't?
You can.
Okay.
Yes, you can. If it
So-
meets the code in height, there's nothing that goes against that. We had cases like that before, and there's nothing that written.
So I have no issue with leaving the chain link fence there.
Yeah, so that would be still there, then there would be a,
6-foot fence behind it.
right behind it?
No,
Or-
15 feet.
Right.
15 feet.
So you'd have like this green belt between
Yes.
the two
On
fences?
the other side,
Right.
on the street side, yes.
Yeah. So you're staying at the sidewalk, you're looking at a chain link fence with bushes, 15 feet, you see a 6-foot high fence.
Are we interpreting your intent correctly?
So if you're somebody that's just walking along the street, you would not see that chain link fence on the outside. It's just going to be the wooden fence. That chain link would still be there, but it would only be seen, it'd only be seen to us, who's ever in the yard.
No.
looks like the chain link's out at the
Chain link fence is
sidewalk.
at the property line.
It's, well, there's about, I think, about a foot or two.
Between the sidewalk and the.
Right,
and
yeah,
the
so
chain.
that would be right in front of it,
Between the
hiding
sidewalk.
the chain link fence.
Which is
So
not-
like to anyone on the outside that's driving, wouldn't be
But
able
you-
to see the chain link fence.
So you don't understand is the privacy fence is 15 feet back from the sidewalk, according to the proposal, according to your proposal. Salim, can you pull
Go
that
back
back
to that
up?
site plan.
So I'm not understanding, what is it?
Okay.
Salim, can you go back to the site plan?
359?
Yep, Sure.
Okay, so we do have a,
Okay, so do you see the sidewalk in that picture there?
Yes,
And then you see the yellow line,
yes.
that's your property line.
Which is where
And
the
then,
chain link is, basically.
and it's a chain link. And then the red line is where you want to put your 6-foot privacy fence.
which is where the board has been asked to
That's
review
where-
the proposal.
Yes.
That's where you want to put your fence? The red line,
Yeah.
that's where you want to put the fence, or do you want to put it right along the chain link?
I'm so sorry, but he submitted an application with the location, so right now we cannot go back and
I
forth.
can't-
It would have to be as submitted.
We are looking at the fence at the red line.
Okay.
If that's not what you want, you have to go all the way back and start all over. Because
I'm trying to figure out exactly where that red line is in the
the
yard.
red line is 15 feet off the sidewalk, according to this map.
So the setback between the yellow line and the house, there's 25 feet there.
Yeah, that's the setback, 25 feet, and the fence was requested to be 15 feet from the property line.
Inside?
Yeah, that's from inside.
So how they...
So Salim, was this a misunderstanding of where the property line was in reference to the?
No, what happens is that he submitted an application to the building department, and we called multiple times, and he mentioned that he didn't know how to design. We asked him to get an architect or somebody that knew how to draw, and he said to go by the application that was submitted, that was drawn when he initially started the process.
So I guess my whole thing was, we were supposed to put the fence, we wanted to put the fence along the chain link fence.
Okay.
So I'm not sure why.
So
how-
what we have in front of us today is 15 feet off. We can't approve or deny it being to the chain link fence. You have to go back to the building department, reapply, get denied, send out the notices to the homeowner, to all the existing neighbors, and then come back to us.
So was this done, so this measurement, that the red line that was in that?
We don't know. We can only see what's in front of us.
Seeing what's
Yes.
on there?
Yes.
That was the way the permit was submitted, or
Yeah,
that request,
That's how it was submitted?
It
was
just-
with that set off
To
15.
to let you know right now is, I can almost read some of my board members, they're fine being 15 feet off the sidewalk.
Yeah.
You may come back and they may not be good at 0 off the sidewalk. I don't know. I can't speak for everybody else up
Right.
there, but, and you guys want to discuss it and decide what you want to do. But we cannot say, let's move it to the sidewalk and
Right.
ask. We can only do what's in
What's
front
on-
of us today,
right.
because that's what was published.
You would need to submit a sketch too. We requested the sketch and nothing came in. We only went by the original application that was submitted to the building department. So we do need a sketch of what's required.
Okay, so are we going to need a whole new application?
Well,
You
need to
could,
stay-
or we could postpone this one if you want to come back.
No.
Can't postpone it.
Can't postpone
Let's
this.
just get a brand-new application. I don't think there's another fee, is there?
No, we can waive the
Yeah,
fee.
Be no fee, but you just come back with an application showing where the fence is. Or you can go with what we have where it's at today and possibly get it approved at where it's at 15 feet off the sidewalk.
No, you can't.
Should I-
Okay, we'll reapply,
Okay.
and then we'll take it from there.
So yeah, let me just explain to you that until we get the sketch, the application will be submitted. So we do need a sketch as soon as possible, please.
Okay, as soon as possible?
Yes.
Okay, and then where can I just get one right up front?
Yeah, you can give it to Jackie and she'll process it. Yes,
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Okay.
yes, thank you.
1 second before you do that.
Megan,
Matt, you have a question?
We have to give it a
We
decision.
have to give it a decision.
Oh, I know, that's, that's,
That's why I said if we postpone it, then if we deny this, you can't come back and ask for the same thing.
exactly. So Celine, do we postpone this until he brings a new application
I
in?
would like that, we can just cancel the application,
Well, what we're saying is we can't vote to deny or approve it. We have to,
If it's canceled, it doesn't affect anything. We've done it before, we just cancel. In this case, we have to get his approval that he's canceling the
so
application.
do we have to put a motion forward that the applicant is withdrawing his application
Yes,
until he comes back with another application?
yes, sir.
You got that, Matt? Because I'm letting you handle it. Sandy, I saved you because I was looking at it. No, it's good.
The fence is in.
Matt will do a great job.
So Gary, he has the option right now to cancel or have you vote on it. So he has those two options.
So if he cancels it, do we vote?
If he cancels, you can vote just to approve his cancellation, because
Like
it's.
that?
I do like that.
So the question is, do you want to postpone it or cancel it and then come back with a new application next month?
can I postpone it without?
Well, we discussed it's better if you cancel it and then come back with another
I
application.
will explain why, because if he cancels now, I mean, he postpones right now, the next one will be exactly with the same location.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right, so we have to cancel so you get a new location.
Okay.
Can I see something?
Sure.
Please, my English not that good. When the girls over there, she drove it for me, and I told her I want to do the new fence with the old one. Okay, I don't know, like what do you say, 5 feet or 10 feet
Okay.
inside or outside?
Yes, and
Okay,
With the old one.
we understand that, but there's probably a typo error, but we can't vote on where it is right now because they sent out notices to all the neighbors, and the neighbors saw 15 feet. So in their mind, they're like, yeah, we're happy with 15 feet. They're not going to send a letter in.
I wanted to also add that the girl at the counter cannot draw for you.
Yes.
The sketch has to come from you.
That's what I told her.
Yeah, but they cannot draw for you.
So,
I told her I don't speak,
Oh,
I don't
sorry.
have what I have to do. She told me, I told her I need like this. She don't.
But then again, that cannot happen.
we
It has to
can't-
come from you. The
we
sketch has
can't
to come
hold
from you.
the girl responsible. Marcus, maybe you could help him draw the next one and take care of it. You have a question?
No, just a statement that, and I like the reason that, yes, we have to do new mailings, and it may be viewed completely differently. I know the board is going to have to view it if you propose it at the sidewalk. We, as a board, if you come in at the sidewalk, we may discuss and say, we'd like to see it set back 10 feet. So at that point, we do have the ability to, I guess, reduce it?
In fact, no, we've been told that we shouldn't negotiate.
We should not negotiate, oh, well, change my statement.
So,
Wouldn't that be better? It's just like how everybody does their fences along the main roads. It's just like right along almost to the
well,
sidewalk.
what one person has doesn't allow the next person. That's why you have to come to the board for
So
us.
we're evolving, it sounds like, and we're
Yeah.
not necessarily, when you bring it to us, we may either say yay or nay on that without any negotiation. Going straight up to a sidewalk on a major area may not be favorable. So take that into consideration when you're doing your drawing.
And there's a reason behind that, right? Because you understand it's the main road and you're on a street exiting onto a main road.
Right.
So we look at it in a way of the neighborhood and the site, what's the safety of everyone that's there, right? Whether you're pulling out from your street, if they need to drive onto DeQuinder, can they see past that obscuring fence, to get out? So those are things that we consider as a board when you come in through us, and that's why the code is there for us to kind of look at that, is because every lot, as Teresa said, can be a little different,
Right.
and it just depends. But you're right, and that's why earlier I was asking Salim to kind of bring up, there are some lots that are along DeQuinder that may have something like that, but every lot is a little different.
Yeah.
But we would consider all those factors in your request. But as you said, I think, reviewing this again or canceling this and trying to re-review the plan together and seeing if you can present to us something that we can, look at a little bit easier. Because I don't want to give you this and then that's not what you want. either,
Right,
so.
definitely.
I would just, again, be conscious and thoughtful of what that proposal is when it comes in, because we may be locked into that without negotiation. So, right up to the sidewalk may not be something that's as favorable as what you've presented today, so there may be a middle ground to consider.
Okay.
One last comment for what it's worth, to your point of all the houses along the major roads, they should have, and I think for the most part have, all probably come in front of this board for that approval, because it's the same requirement for all of them as well. Just because you haven't seen the approval, they didn't do that without approval, I guess.
Right.
So to finish up, you're going to cancel, correct? You're going to cancel your application?
Yes.
And we're going to vote to let you cancel it, and we'll see you back when you come back with a new application.
Yep, and since you're canceling, we'll waive the fee for
So there won't be
applying
another
again.
fee.
Perfect. Thank
Okay.
you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Anybody want to put a motion forward to cancel, to approve their canceling of?
I would motion to cancel the appeal request for 2982 Athena for relief of Chapter 83 requesting a fence be set off of the house 10 feet.
I'll second that motion.
Kathy?
Mr. Abathira?
Yes.
Ms. Brooks?
Yes.
Mr. Dezerman?
Yes.
Mr. Friesen?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. Next one is any communications. Do we have any communications today?
Yes, we would like to see if we can approve the calendar for 2022.
Is Mr. Miller seeing the calendar?
I don't think so. Well, he was sent a packet, but I don't know if he had time to see it because he is out of the state. I believe his daughter is having surgery, so I don't know if he has seen it or not.
I mean, he's only here twice, so there's chances.
We can postpone that to the next meeting if you would like.
I think postpone it to next meeting.
You want to postpone that? Would give us time to think about it. We have time till next meeting to. Do we
Yeah, 'cause
have?
I would like to review this with my own personal.
Hold on, before we do that, do we have a meeting for next month already? Do we have anything on the agenda?
Not yet. No.
Okay. So then we're going to move into.
I have to check with Jackie to see if anybody has submitted.
That's a good point.
So,
But we're good with January, if we're good with January 5th, we can do it then.
yeah, how about we just approve it through February 2nd? Does that sound good to the board?
Yeah.
Kathy, you're not saying anything.
Kathy, can we do that? Or-
I don't know if you can do that. It doesn't help the administration to set the calendar going forward. I would
put it
suggest
out
that
there.
you, if you think the dates are correct, to go ahead and approve it. You can always change your date
Okay, we can
of
change
the
the
meeting
date.
later.
So
Okay.
we'll throw it,
Well, I would like to move the August 3rd one to the August 10th.
And
Well, we
then-
can do it at a later meeting, couldn't we?
Well, I know I'm going to be gone that month. that
And
week.
then July 6th is always
Yeah.
my.
July and August are always the ones we move.
Yeah. So I would like to say, let's go to August 10th, and you would like to move
July 13th.
July 13th.
13th.
That we miss the holiday and my vacation.
I have the same,
Gary.
I have the same vacation as you.
Okay. Because otherwise, we won't have a
Can
quorum.
we approve it as is and correct it on the next meeting?
Sure, is that,
So that way we just,
I would-
you have more
because
time
then
to
we'll
look at
have
it.
Mr.
okay,
Miller.
that sounds
Would
good.
have more corrections.
Okay. And you'll get it to Miller and let him make sure he's good with those?
I'll
and
talk
we
to
can all
Jackie about it,
double-check our- you guys can. All right, so do we need to put a motion forward to approve the,
I'll put a motion forward to approve the Building Board Code of Appeals 2022 Building Board of Appeals meeting dates as presented.
A second?
Kathy, whenever you're ready?
Okay. The recording secretary wants a clarification. We are not changing any of the dates,
Nope.
correct? Okay. All right.
As submitted.
Ms. Brooks?
Yes.
Mr. Dezerman?
Yes.
Mr. Friesen?
Yes.
Mr. Abathira?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, any public comments? Seeing none? We'll move to miscellaneous business. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. We are,
Wait.
oh,
Miscellaneous business, are we just, where are we at on like schedules of appointments and all that? Are we all like appointed through all this? Everything's good? Because I feel like I've gotten mail and
I don't know.
maybe I can address that personally. on
I
the
am
side.
not an appointed position.
know,
I
so
have
I'm-
a always have to be here position.
Just like Mr. Miller.
Okay, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm a sworn.
Okay, all right, that's fine. I can,
I'm sure
I can research on my
Celine or
side.
someone can find out when
You're
our,
an
I didn't
elected.
understand.
he's wondering how long our appointments are for.
Yeah.
I know they go for
Because
3 years.
mine started in a weird.
Oh, I see what you're
appointment, so I
saying.
think I was like off
I
schedule.
get informed by the clerk's office, like with him, I got informed by the clerk's office. So
Yeah.
they're keeping up with
I
it.
never got informed.
Okay.
Well, thanks for being here.
Yes. So we can ask the
Never
clerk's,
told me.
we can follow up with the clerk's office and see how
I
that's
think
going.
I think the appointments are through December, and that's all. Before the next meeting is January, I just want to make sure everybody's.
And usually in January is when the city council will appoint you. So it'll go in front of the city council, like, for all the election boards usually in January.
Are we all set then? Meeting's adjourned.
Thank you.
Remind me next time you say you're going.